She just coughed up a bunch of snot.
His brand was fairly easy to read. He was actually born in New Zealand.
Something's up with him. So we arrived at Washington, D.C. very late last night. A busy schedule of speaking engagements. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
We're just getting here to the parade, and Keith is driving like a professional.
Who will save us? Who will save us? When the truth's in the shadows, all hail to the hero.
So guys, I have an announcement. We could all gather around. We have hit 3 million views in the last 30 days for the first time.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Enthusiastically clapping. Wow. That's awesome.
So guys, in September, we hit 699,000 views, which, was good. But then in October, we hit 1 million. November, we hit 2 million. And for the last 30 days, we've had 3.2 million views. That's a lot of people watching our stuff, and y'all are doing such an amazing work. And we also couldn't do it without you watching our episodes. So thank you so much for watching our episodes and our videos, and we really appreciate you guys. So we're going to celebrate with some sparkling non-alcoholic beverage here, and I'm super excited of our media team. They've really knocked it out of the park recently. And I'm not butlering today. I'm actually going to Washington, D.C., and so I have to dress the part of a local. So here's to the next 3 million views.
Yeah, there we go.
We have a big adventure for us this week. We're leaving the shelter behind and we're headed to Washington, D.C. Jason's already ready to go. We're getting on the airplane soon. I was like, I am not coming to the shelter in city clothes. I just got these clothes yesterday, actually. Jason took me shopping, which you'll see a little tidbit right now because I don't wear city clothes usually. So we're shopping for city clothes because we're going to Washington, D.C. and I've never shopped in this section before in my life. It's always just jeans.
But I think this is a nice jacket, so you should try this on.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I messaged the folks that are lining this all up. I'm like, is there a dress code? Because I'm thinking I'm just going to wear my Horse Plus stuff, and now there's a dress code apparently in Washington, D.C. So, I don't know. So Jason keeps shopping for me. Jason actually loves shopping. I don't like shopping. So he's got me new things to try. Well, we lived, and
Almost $5,000 later, we're out of there.
and that's money we're spending ourselves. That's not Horse Plus money. So yeah, so now I'm ready to go to Washington, D.C. I have city clothes.
I also don't go shopping for women's city clothes very often, but I'm glad I could help Tawnee out. And
Jason's a way better shopper than I am, so I'm glad he was there. He just kept bringing me clothes, and I'm like, they all look ridiculous, I think. But we found some that we sent pictures to our friends, and they said I look good, so I don't know. When we're invited to go speak at places to share what we see firsthand, it's always important because that can help bring awareness that could put a change to what we're seeing and end some of the horrific cruelty we're seeing. So we're meeting with the USDA.
mm-hmm. Yeah, on the way to the airport, we're actually meeting with the USDA
when we go to
investigator.
Nashville.
And he's over the situation with the auction banning us. That's his investigation. So we're hoping that there can be a resolution to that quickly.
Yeah, so meeting with USDA, hopping on a plane, going to Washington, and my voice has not been the same since I did the 13 hours of fundraising on Giving Tuesday. I just talked constantly on a live, so my voice is weird, but I'm hoping it'll get better. And there's 10 meetings lined up so far in Washington, D.C., last I heard, and there are half-an-hour presentations at each meeting. So it's gonna be very, very busy, but Jason will be filming, so you'll get to see what it's like in Washington, D.C., and I know the shelter here will be taken care of with all our amazing staff here.
We are going up to quarantine to finish intake. There's 7 horses left, and we're going to get their initial intake done today.
Hi, buddy.
They've all got a lot of cocoa burrs, so while we got them up here today, we might as well get them all out. I bet it can't be too comfortable.
She just coughed up a bunch of snot.
This is Thistle. Thistle's not really feeling well today. She's got some nasal discharge and she's got some like mucus in her saliva. Like her saliva is very viscous. So I've been messaging Dr. Lydia, and we're gonna get her temp, and she's gonna get a dose of Exceed, and we're gonna keep an eye on her and see if we can't get her feeling better. Okay, it was normal. It was 99.6.
Good now.
Yeah, okay, it's about the same.
For those of you that don't know what cocoa burrs look like, that's a cocoa burr.
I messaged Dr. Lydia about him, described his symptoms, and he doesn't have a temperature, so she recommended that we give him a dose of Exceed. So he got a dose of Exceed, and he's gonna go into isolation just in case he has something that's potentially contagious. And that way, being in isolation, it'll be easier to keep a closer eye on him rather than being out in a bigger pasture. And so we'll do daily checks with him to make sure he's feeling better each day.
That's the little pile. Oh, so much better.
Pick up your foot, ma'am.
So we have checked, and he is definitely a male. We're not sure if we felt testicles in there, so we're just gonna have a vet take a look and feel. Even if we do palpate and we don't feel anything, it's always good to have a vet check just to be sure.
She's gray, so they're more susceptible to skin issues. So I'm just looking to see if she has anything that we maybe need to get Dr. Lydia in the loop on to see if she has any skin issues going on. So far, I didn't see anything right off. You can do it. You can do it. Good job. His brand was fairly easy to read, even without shaving it down. We're just doing this for our record keeping. He was actually born in New Zealand in 2000, so he's 23 years old. And he was transported to the US in 2006. When he came in, I noticed his brand. They have like a different branding system in New Zealand. So this Z here stands for New Zealand. And then this will be the 2 digits of their birth year. And then the arrows, it's kind of similar to a Mustang brand. The numbers they actually are, it's like the same type of code. But this part, these digits work out to be. So his name is Sunwatch. We looked it up already. I actually had some help from somebody who messaged us. I already knew he was from New Zealand. But when I went to search on the New Zealand standardbred registry page, I didn't know that you had to put in the 2 birth year digits as well. So those were 00, and then I had the rest of the number right, but it wasn't like searching it properly. But anyway, we figured out who he is. He did race quite a bit. He won around 40 grand in New Zealand dollars, which by American standardbred racing standards is not a huge amount, but it's not like unsuccessful either. He won quite a bit, quite a few first place, second place, third place. He placed quite a bit. But it's just really sad because despite all the money that he won in his life, he still ended up in the slaughter pipeline. So think before you breed. We finished intake on the last 7 horses from our last buyout. Everything went pretty well, but so far, no extremely severe health issues so far that we know. We have Dr. Lydia helping us out with this young horse that had the nasal discharge, and we're gonna keep her up to date on that so that we can get advice on what to do with it. But so far, everyone seems to be pretty healthy, and we'll just keep an eye on them until they come out of quarantine.
I'm Kirsten Hoover, and I'm here to surrender a dog because I picked one up on the Natchez on Friday. I was going to do a walkthrough for one of my clients out in Collinwood, and I drove by and she was at one of those rest stops with the bathrooms, and I saw her and the Natchez. I'm like, maybe she just ran from her farm or whatever, but if she's still here, I'll stop. So she was sitting there, and I went to Collinwood, and then I came back and she was still there. So I pulled in and I was like, okay, well, let me see her temperament and how she was and see if she's hurt or anything. But it took her a minute. She's very scared, tail tucked, didn't know, but she warmed up quite quickly. I cleaned her off with my kid's blanket and dried her up because she was freezing and put her in my car. Good go, girlfriend. Bye, mamas.
We are getting to the last of the boosters for the donkeys, which was the first buyout group that we had today. And so they're gonna be they're all due for slightly different things because they all got things at different times, basically based on when they got castrated. So we're finishing up pretty much all of them today. And then we'll be done with that group and they'll be ready to go to their new homes. This is Mohawk, and he needs everything, 5-way strangles and ivermectin, so that's what he's getting. Woody! He's my favorite. Hey, buddy. Hi.
This is Bob. Bob is a donkey. This is Hunk.
Hunk is a punk.
And he's a wild one. He's doing pretty good, actually.
All the donkeys finished getting their boosters and they're all ready to go to their forever homes now.
So I've got Aries in here, and right now Troy is out riding Patch. So I'm gonna hop on Aries and we're gonna go down the road a little ways.
Yesterday we got 3 little puppies. They are hound mixes and extremely adorable. So me and Emily are going to intake them today and keep our fingers crossed that we can get them transferred out as soon as possible so they can find their forever homes. I'm giving them flea and tick preventative, and then next I'm going to deworm them. Tori is actually an amazing patient. She is extremely cute. Why are you so cute? She is completely done. So this is our card. This is how we keep up with everything they get so that we can put it in to her medical records. So this is Binks. She is just as sweet as her sister, but a little bit shy. She's quiet, quite mischievous. She did try to enter a hay bale this morning, but she's a good girl. She's shaken. Poor thing. Okay. So Binks is all done. All that she has left is her rabies shot, which we'll have to take her to the vet to get. But other than that, she did really good. She's a great patient. Binks is intook. She can go on the wall. So when somebody comes to adopt her, they pull her off and put her over there.
So this is Rory. And he's gonna get all of his intakes done. So he's one step closer to finding his home.
Something's up with him.
What?
He's got
boo-boos.
He has teeth are falling out.
Oh, honey.
He has something serious has happened to this dog. He's missing a chunk. Look at this. Yeah, this dog needs to see a vet. Yeah, he's missing a chip from his tongue. What did you do?
Either that or someone was mean to him.
What happened? You need to see a vet.
Oh.
We're gonna have to call Doc.
Feel like right where his lymph node would be. It was like swollen and hard.
Something has attacked this puppy. Yeah. We're gonna have to give Dr. Lydia a call and have her come look at this dog. Yeah. That's more than a vet assistant and a fancy receptionist can handle. So we're gonna have the best vet in the world come and look at your mouth, okay, buddy? Yeah. So first of all,
ow, yeah, ouch.
He has a cut in his tongue.
Yes, and a hole in the bottom of his mouth.
Yeah. So, and then he's like super swollen right here.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this?
He's got
so like it's
something bit completely through his ear right here.
Well, he got attacked by another dog.
Yeah.
Or the other puppy, like there's another puncture.
The other puppies are fine. There's some on this ear.
Something bit, yeah.
So, I guess my question is, what do you think that we should do? Should we have a vet look at him? Isn't Dr. Lydia coming soon?
She's coming on Monday.
Just look at that sad face.
She's coming on Monday. I could just send her pictures really quick, see if there's anything.
Like maybe some pain meds or antibiotics.
Okay.
So I had Kimberly come look at his mouth. She's always my second opinion, as she knows quite a bit, as well do I. But we both agreed that we're gonna send some pictures to Dr. Lydia, have her look at it. I'm thinking he's gonna need some pain meds because he looks like he's hurting. And I don't blame him. If I had a hole in my mouth, I'd probably be hurting too. We're going to keep him away from his siblings in an isolated area where we can view him daily. And if Dr. Lydia were to prescribe him medicine, that way we can easily get to him and keep an eye on him because he has a lot going on, poor guy.
Usually, most dogs will just have a spare dew claw right here. The only breed that that we know of that has two is a Great Pyrenees, and those are meant for extra grip when they're running and protecting their livestock. And so when a dog comes in, we're not sure what it is. This is a telltale sign that they are part Pyrenees. And it's also really cool.
So Rory is all done with his intake. We were really sad to find the hole in his mouth. Hopefully we can hear back from Dr. Lydia soon and get a game plan for what to do for this poor guy. For now, we will be feeding him soft food, so it's easier for him to eat. He should not have to eat hard food with a hole in his mouth. So we're gonna pamper him, give him lots of snuggles, and keep him cozy until we have some pain meds that we can give him.
Troy and I just got back from taking Patch and Aries just down the road a little bit. They both did really well. Aries did get a little bit nervous, or the dog came up and started barking, but it wasn't too bad, and she was pretty easily corrected, and then she was only in the halter, so I'd say she's pretty good.
apples and carrots. They always smell so good. They bring them from the local farmer's market. Look at these carrots. Huge carrots. They got quite a few carrots and 2 bags of apples.
That was nice.
Yeah. Just need to cut them up, give them to the horses and donkeys. They'll like that, and mules. Hey Corey, I've got a plate of apples and carrots for the horses. When you guys are ready for more, I'll cut more up, okay?
Autumn rain falling on the rooftops calling. Birds of summer back south to wander. It's a chance to start again.
We are fixing to go down the main alley and feed the horses up through there and then make our way to quarantine to check hay racks and waterers.
On the wing of remembering.
We are going to be feeding Pasture 7, Cordova, Jester, Dancer, Galileo, and Serena. A scoop and a half of Senior Active and a half a scoop apiece of alfalfa pellet.
All the plans that we made in summer, they are shining memories, calling to each other, trouble disappear.
We've got to give him a scoop and a half of Senior Active, but we have to heavily soak his food in water for 30 minutes. So we'll soak it, let it set on the fence outside, and by the time we get done watering and everything, it should be ready to put in there for him to eat. We've got all the livestock fed and watered this morning. I'm gonna move on to my next set of chores for the day and see what else progresses from here.
I am getting meds ready for Rory. Rory is a little puppy that was surrendered, I think yesterday. And it seems sometime recently he has been probably attacked by another dog. He had a little wound in his mouth where he has a couple of his little baby teeth missing. And then he had a tiny little puncture wound in his nose and another hole on the inside of his mouth, and his tongue actually got split like part of the way as well. And then he has another puncture wound on the outside of his face, like kind of by his jaw. So I've been communicating with Dr. Lydia, and she prescribed some pain meds as well as some antibiotics to prevent infection. So I'm just setting that up so that he's good to go for the weekend. Hopefully he'll get adopted soon, or we can get him transferred out.
I'm heading out to pick up a horse that someone needs to rescue, and I'm pretty sure I know how to get there. I looked at the directions. Unfortunately, my GPS quit working, so I'm gonna have to try to go off my memory, but I should be able to find it. I think, yeah, turn left here. It's dirt road. I think I know where I'm going. It was pretty simple directions, but here's another T, and I really don't know which way to go. I guess I'll call him and ask. No signal, you gotta be kidding me. Maybe there'll be signal outside. There's just no signal here. But I have a satellite phone with me, thanks to sat123.com.
That's right. If you go to sat123.com Horse Plus and get one of these life-saving devices, Horse Plus will earn a commission, which will help us save more horses.
With the power of satellite communication technology, you can reach anybody in the world from anywhere in the world. I'm gonna call them up and we're gonna go get that horse.
This amazing satellite phone, with its small yet powerful form factor, delivers trusted, rugged, reliable communications all in an easy-to-use handset.
And again, thanks to sat123.com, I was able to get out of a sticky situation and go get that horse.
Remember, if you go to sat123.com Horse Plus and get one of these life-saving devices, Horse Plus will earn a commission, which will help us save more horses.
So Jason and I, we got done with our USDA meeting. How did that go?
2-hour affidavit, so very in-depth, very interesting. All the things we ought to talk about.
Now we are on the bus shuttle to take us to our plane. So
yeah, TSA pre-check.
Yeah, we do. We finally got that TSA pre-check. So yeah, so off to Washington D.C. It'll be interesting. Speaking out for the animals. Tomorrow's going to be an insane day. So yeah, never done this before. We'll see what happens. I got my city clothes. Jason's all spiffy too. Well, we're here. We made it.
Yep, just touched down, so it's 10 o'clock at night, and we got to get to bed because we got to get up early and go for work, so.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. I've never done anything like this before.
For sure.
So we'll see what happens. So we arrived at Washington, D.C. very late last night, and it is now the morning. There's a busy schedule of speaking engagements. So basically the plan is we are going to meet up with the lady that's coordinating all of this and has invited us to come to Washington. And I've never done anything like this before. I mean, I have spoke at the Capitol in California before for Mustangs, but that's not flying to Washington, D.C. and going from meeting to meeting to meeting, being the voice for horses. When Clint was alive, he did so much to try to end the big lick. And I did go and deliver some material to some of the folks in Nashville, but this is a whole new level, and had to wear city clothes for it. But we'll see how today goes, and then also tomorrow's even a busier schedule, so it's gonna be something else for sure. So I hope you enjoy following along with us today, being the voice for horses in Washington, D.C. If we don't change, we've been rescuing for 20 years. I haven't seen a change. And if we can let people know what we're seeing firsthand and the horror that these horses are going through, that's where change can actually happen. So we'll see how today goes, and might tweak our style a little bit from meeting to meeting, because like I said, I've never really done this before. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So far it's going good. Definitely out of my element, I feel like, but everything is very much different up here. But hopefully we are making a difference and being the voice for horses, and that's what I definitely feel like I'm doing today. There's just a lot of walking. This is most of what we have done up here, is walking and a little talking and more walking and walking. And more walking, and then talking.
And then talking and walking.
And then talking.
And then walking and talking. And walking and then talking.
Yes. So Marty, thank you so much for meeting with me. And we've had quite the last 2 days of lobbying for the horses, which I know you're very passionate about horses. But why is it important to lobby for animal laws?
Well, Tawnee, thank you so much for being here in Washington, D.C. It's extremely important. I came 10 years ago to Washington to testify at a hearing in support of the PAST Act, Prevent All Soaring Tactics Act, to end the soaring of Tennessee walking horses. And I never dreamed that I would never leave. But I realized, early on that it was the impact that you can have from a policy perspective of how to change things in the country for the betterment of horses and really all animals. We can all rescue a horse. We can all rescue a dog or a cat. And it's wonderful. And I admire the work that you guys do, what you've done with Glimmer and other horses. But at the end of the day, if we're going to solve the problem, we have to make national policy changes that really impacts thousands, tens of thousands of horses' lives.
If somebody's just coming here and reading off paper, like to actually be able to see it, and from somebody that's been in the trenches, I think I saw a lot of lights come on.
I know years ago, our friend Clancy that we missed that passed away earlier this year, he used to always bring the big stacks and the chains with him when we'd come up. And that really resonated with people. Seeing those stacks and chains, like, what is this terrible stuff on these horses' feet, really made a difference versus just talking about it or even a picture. And then the same with horse slaughter. Horse slaughter is so gruesome. It's terrible. The majority of the population is so against horse slaughter. It's an important issue right now that I think we stand a good chance of getting something done on because of the farm bill that has to move in 2024 before the end of September. And I would advocate for each of you out there to please, if you can't come to Washington, D.C., come to Washington, D.C. if you can. That's most important. But if you can't come to Washington, D.C., at least call your members of Congress at 202-224-3121. It's 202-224-3121 and ask them to support a ban on horse slaughter in the upcoming Farm Bill by including language that would amend the Dog and Cat Meat Trade Prohibition Act we passed in the last Farm Bill to include American equines. And if we do that, we'll stop 90% of the horse slaughter that's out there. You're still going to have some rogue people that try to beat the system, but we'll stop 90% of it if we do that one thing, and we can get that included in the Farm Bill next year.
Do you have any advice for me on how to, Clint did such an amazing job with the protest and filling his shoes is impossible, but do you have any advice for me going back to Tennessee on, there's a new show season coming up next year. How can we most impact what's happening to these horses and raising awareness? What's your thoughts?
Well, no, I commend you guys, Tawnee, you and Jason, for all you do at Horse Plus Humane Society and picking up the torch and carrying it. I was kind of worried whether someone would be there to do that or not because I'm here in D.C. and there are fewer and fewer people in Tennessee these days that are involved. So I think doing what you guys are doing and continuing on with the protests that Clint started, those were always extremely effective. They make a difference. If you really want to make a difference and you want to make a donation to Horse Plus Humane Society. They're up here on Capitol Hill. They've traveled from Tennessee. They're rescuing horses on the ground, and I am here every day. I've been here 10 years, and I can tell you in the past 2 years, I have not seen a single lobbyist from the Humane Society of the United States or the ASPCA on Capitol Hill on any day. And that's kind of shocking, but I call them desk jockeys. They like to lobby from their computer. Well, anybody can lobby from their computer. Being here in person is what counts. What you're doing is what counts. And really and truly, those protests mean a lot because it's about public opinion. It's about creating awareness. So please go show up at the protests and be there to help Tawnee and Jason and Horse Plus Humane Society carry on the torch for Clancy and save these Tennessee walking horses from abuse.
Well, Marty, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to meet with us here. We'll be flying out in the morning, but I just want to thank you for your support and for all that you do for the animals and for what you are trying to do to get a better world for Tennessee walking horses when you're amongst all of them. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They look at them like, oh, they're all terrible. And I know there's folks in there who don't like it. And I'm at the shows with the flat shot and nobody's cheering or anything for them. And I'm like, woohoo! And the big league people come up and they're like, why are you cheering for them? And I'm like, I think that's how they should be shown. And it's going to take everybody working together, and I think just sharing what's happening for people on social media. And again, just thank you so much for your time and your support and for what you do.
No, and thank you and Jason both and everybody at Horse Plus Humane Society. You guys are doing great work. We're going to get there. I think, we've got a long road ahead of us, but we've made so much progress over the past decade. There's so many people that have changed their minds. And there are a lot of people in the walking horse industry that are good people that don't store horses or don't have stored horses. And they're just trapped in a system where the people who are conducting the abuse and supporting the abuse are in control and in power. So that's why they lose a lot of people in the breed. But eventually, I do believe that good will prevail and these horses will be saved.
Today's a very good day because we have TSA pre-check.
Yes, we finally
And,
broke down. If you've watched our episodes, you've seen us standing for hours in line. We're like, let's do it. So.
But we're gonna have to shut off the video because you're not allowed to video. So here we go. We just got back from Washington, D.C., and we had 2 amazing whirlwind days of lobbying lawmakers. And I think we just want to take a minute and tell you what the trip was like.
Yeah, so first off, I did survive wearing city clothes, and I found out the city clothes are actually quite comfortable. So that part of my worrisome was not anything I needed to worry about. But you don't know until you go there. But regardless of all of that, going to Washington, D.C. was an amazing experience and very eye-opening for me. Was it eye-opening for you?
Yeah, so it was definitely educational. Like going into this, Tawnee and I had never done anything on a national level like that. And you have no idea what to expect. And at first it's like, why are we just talking to staffers? And then the more you kind of get to know what's going on, it's like, well, actually these are the people that are the ones that bring the policy to the lawmakers. So I think I was amazed and a little bit humbled by the situation because it's huge, like just massive what's going on up there. And there's people from around the country, everybody's pushing for their own agenda. And you just look around, it's just a sea of humanity.
That's why it's really important for those of us who have been in the trenches to be speaking out why these laws are important. And some of them that we went to, they were already support like the SAFE Act and stuff. And we had a neat experience where usually we were just going in and talking to the receptionist and just, thank you so much for supporting the SAFE Act and these different acts and the PAST Act. But we actually did get to meet somebody who's a major decision maker.
So Representative Alma Adams from North Carolina, she actually co-sponsored the SAFE Act, so we were able to meet her in person in her office and thank her for co-sponsoring the SAFE Act.
And she was very grateful to hear from us and that we were there thanking her. So I think that's another aspect of this is, not just pushing we need these laws, but also giving the acknowledgement that, thank you so much for supporting this, because these are truly the people that are going to bring change to the horse world, which is just kind of mind-boggling for me as I was going through and, doing the different things we did. I kept thinking that, these people who are like, we have no idea about what this means. We've tried to research it. Now I finally understand it. These are the people that are making those decisions. And if we're not able to sit with them and explain with them exactly why these laws are needed, they're never going to happen. They're never going to pass. And I feel like for the SAFE Act that, prior to this trip, it seemed like it was never going to happen. It was never changing. But I did learn up there, and it's exciting news about the SAFE Act, that it's really closer than it ever has been closing to passing. Really next year it could pass, and that would end the whole horse slaughter thing.
Yeah, so really it's just adding one word onto the existing law that outlaws exporting dogs and cats for slaughter. It would be adding the word equine in that existing law.
Yeah, so a lot of these laws don't change overnight, and the SAFE Act has been called the SAFE Act for a long time, but it keeps changing kind of behind the name. Things keep changing. And so for me, being able to learn that, okay, so they were able to put a law in place, dog and cat slaughter, which is no brainer, we don't want that to happen, is illegal. And now it's just adding equine to that existing law. When I was meeting with the California representative, I was telling her it's really a no-brainer. California already acknowledges that horses are pets, and for them to adapt
this law and just add equine into it and support it, it falls right in line with what California already stands by. And, you know, so just being able to meet with these people and go over the different things and explain it to them from a rescuer standpoint was just amazing. And I was really blown away by the amount of, like, I never understood it until now. And I heard that, and it was like, this is why these laws aren't passing. If you're just paying somebody to go stand in front of these people that don't have a clue of what's actually happening, it's no wonder these laws aren't getting passed.
Well, what I thought was very fascinating is Tawnee took her little laptop there. She had a presentation she'd actually show the people, you know. It's like 10 slides.
What you see
yeah.
firsthand.
And the lady that had invited us up there, she's a lobbyist, and she's like...
She's done this for 8 years, and she's like, this is like, they're actually looking at what you're presenting and they're connecting with it.
Well, she's like, when I went to lobby school, they specifically said, do not do presentations. It's like, well, we do what works.
I'm like, I want them to see what I am seeing. And so it was really amazing to be part of all of that. So, and be thanking those who are supporting the SAFE Act. I think that is so huge. You know, there needs to be more of that. But, you know, you as, you know, a person sitting in your home, you can call and talk to, you know, and just let them know, like, there are people in the office that are writing down what you're saying and why they should support the SAFE Act. So the PASS Act, that would be preventing soring of Tennessee walking horses, is really, really close to moving on.
Yeah.
Like, shockingly.
It has enough co-sponsors in the House to get out of subcommittee into committee so it can go on the floor for a vote.
And like, if nobody's encouraging these laws to happen, they can easily fall by the wayside. And one person I was speaking with, like, you know, I was explaining, you know, soaring, and I was showing the pictures, and she's like, when this, like, we need to make a decision on this and stuff, I was studying it, and she's like, I couldn't figure out what it was actually like. And she's like, now I know, and now I know why it's so important. So things like that I took away, and I was just like, wow, this is a crucial part of helping animals.
So I think that we were very successful up there. We have no way to directly gauge the success other than we were able to talk to a lot of people. We were able to network and let them know, hey, this is why. And like Tawnee's been mentioning, you know, it's important to show them why. And there's a lot of education that happened. And I know for a fact we're going to want to do this again.
Yeah, I know in March, we're planning on going back again, and not only to talk with them, and I mean, especially like the PASS Act that would prevent soaring of big lick horses, like that's really coming close. And there's a huge amount of support for it, but just encouraging them, and the SAFE Act. And we also were talking to them about the helicopter roundups of the Mustangs, and then also donkeys being slaughtered and exported.
Which is a whole separate bill. That's actually the, and I'm going to slaughter the pronunciation, no pun intended, but it's the EIJO Act. Would prevent donkeys from being exported for slaughter for their hides.
Yeah, so there was a whole lot of things we were able to talk on. Basically anything that was connected to horses, we were presenting. And one thing I had made a long time ago was just this chart that showed how horses ended up in slaughter. And everywhere I brought that out, they're like, oh, can we have this? They're like, this is amazing. I understand now how horses end up in the slaughter pipeline. Like, there's so much just a lack of education at a level where they're making these such crucial laws that it's just mind-blowing to me. And I know for a fact that going there made a big impact on people being able to understand why these laws are so needed. And it would be very hard, you know, if some place was just paying a lobbyist to go talk to them, you know, day after day to all these different offices, that they could truly make a difference by, you know, like when you see something firsthand and you're able to explain the abuse that you're seeing and why these laws desperately need to be put into place, it really does make a difference. So for me, it was an amazing experience, and I truly now understand why
it's so important to lobby for better animal laws and be the people that are actually like, if you don't see it, that's fine. Still call them, tell them that you want them to support it, or thank them. You can look up and see if they're supporting it. Just call them up and say, thank you so much for supporting this. Like, they do need to hear from the American people because, you know, I think so long the horse slaughter, it kind of fell into cattle and the whole livestock part. And there's so many people that don't want anything to change there, that the horses weren't able to be protected. But now that it's really just adding them to a law that prevents dogs and cats from being slaughtered, we are so close to getting it passed. But, you know, look up your local representatives, and if they're supporting it, call and thank them. If they're not, ask them to support it. And there is literally somebody writing it down, and we'll pass that on, and you can make a difference too. But definitely being there in person was huge.
Each year we have a special parade here in Hohenwald, Tennessee, and Corey is helping us get the trailer all ready. We're putting up lights, and we have this banner that we're going to be putting on it that Keith has. So I'll just kind of help with that real quick. All right. So we'll be having our truck and trailer kind of getting the word out about Horse Plus Humane Society and being a part of our local community. We're gonna have little cowboy with us and our mascot. We're all excited. It's a pretty big event in town, and we can't wait.
This should make it. Okay. So I am pretty much finished up. And I believe we're gonna try to leave here, I wanna say maybe around like 5:45 and get there around 6. So that way we can get set up, get a spot in line, and make sure we're ready to go.
All right, guys, we're heading out to the parade. So let's go.
We're just getting here to the parade, and it'll be starting in about an hour. And Keith is driving like a professional.
Light failures. They wired them across the door. I was trying to get in so I could turn all the lights on, and broke the light because I didn't realize it was wired through the door.
Cool.
So the truck lights aren't wanting to come on. I don't know I can get all these lights on. So see if maybe Corey can fix them.
Now we got some lights. Had to splice it back together middle of the getting ready for the parade, but that's life. So here they are. They're on and they're flashing.
I can't see. Do you need a horse handler? Yes.
She can't see when she has the spunky on. Angela's gonna help her keep her from falling off.
I'm gonna be her horse handler. I just don't have a lead rope or anything.
And we've got the cowboy. Cowboy's here to spread some cheer. And here we've got Corey and Spunky and Angela. Yay! Cowboy's got a lot of fans. Merry Christmas!
Society. If you don't know these folks, they do a great service. They handle an enormous amount of horses every year. And there's Michelle Hinson's horse right there. Look at that.
That's the end of the Christmas parade, Joe. It was a great parade. A lot of interaction with Cowboy. He got tired there at the end, but a lot of people were super excited to see him. A lot of little kids screaming Merry Christmas at him. He got to eat a few pieces of candy. And the announcer had some very nice things to say about Horse Plus. All in all, it's a really good Christmas parade. So Merry Christmas, everyone, 2023.